All right, moving back to our original, or let's say the actual topic, and that is what the types of desert. Now, desert is also comprised of various types. There we have a various types of desert. So, if desert is rocky, that will be called as Hamada. If there are stones in the desert, that will be called as Reg. If there is a sandy desert, that will be called as Erg. Then we have a Badland, Chambal Badland, and you will see we have a mountain deserts as well. So there is a one common feature in all of these deserts, and that one common feature is that there is no vegetation or almost less vegetation, or there is a scanty rainfall. The rainfall is almost scanty here. So Hamada or Rocky Desert, Hamada and Rocky Desert is basically bare. Here we'll see exposed rocks are there, and they are also have some sort of, they are cleared of sand and dust. Sand and dust, which is here, so that dust will lead to the removal of sand, and that's how the rocky part is actually exposed. Though desert will be called as Hamada. These surfaces are polished, these are smooth, and yes, these will be infertile, that they can support to the growth of any vegetation. They are almost infertile. So they are polished, smooth, and infertile due to their constant abrasion. Then you will see we have a reg, stony desert. Here you will see we have a reg or stony desert. Now with this particular angular, this stony desert, here you will see that we have angular pebbles and angular gravels because of the its this difference with respect to the rocky desert. So stony desert will have almost angular pebbles and gravel, and these will be, they are very weak. They are pebbles, you can say, and as these pebbles are there, they are very weak, but they are too heavy to be lifted by wind. Wind would not be, lifting this material, especially because of this. What will happen, these gravels will become what, angular in their shape. They are not smoother, but they are angular in their shape. And when it comes to these stony deserts, so they are more navigable than sandy desert, and they support limited camel herdings. So camel herdings is there, but limited, and they are more navigable. They are easy to navigate. You can easy to pass through from these set of deserts. So reg means we have a stony desert. Moving ahead, Erg. Erg is basically the sandy desert. So it is being called as sea of sand. It has been called as what? Sea of sand, and it is formed by wind deposition. Dunes are there, and yes, there are some sort of undulating. Undulating means like this. Okay, this is the undulating. So undulating landscape is also the feature of sandy desert. Yes, this undulation will be actually being facilitated by prevailing winds. You will get to know about prevailing winds in atmosphere. So just be with me, just remember these terms, and yes, I will explain all of these terms in climatology itself. See, geography is very much interlinked. Each and every topic is linked with the another one in order to have a better explanation. So as of now, just stick with this prevailing winds term, and yes, whenever we'll have a session, whenever I'm going to tell you about the prevailing winds, which are, what are they, where they used to be there, so I will recall that with respect to the desert as well. So prevailing winds and the sand which is there, it will lead to the formation of undulating landscape. Okay, undulating landscape will be there. Then we have a badland. The badland is actually basically formed because of the loose particles. There are very loose particles are there, and as a result of this, what will happen when the river is there, when the water is there, so this water will cause removal, the instant removal will be there. So as a result of removal, gullies will be formed. As a result of removal, gullies, narrow strips will be formed. Those narrow strips will be called as what? Gullies. And ravine craved by infrequent but intense water erosion. Again, like with this gullies, there will be a constant water erosion, and as a result of this constant water erosion, there will be a, badland topography. If you might have visited river Chambal, and if you see the topography which is adjacent to river Chambal, you will see this Badland topography. Badland topography. It is primarily because of the loose particles. When there is a rainfall, they will be have a shape like this. So, however, it supports some sort of vegetation, but they are under this category of desert. So, badland topography we used to say. All right, let's see that what landforms are likely to be formed as a result of erosion or as a result of deposition, which is being caused by winds. So, first of all, here you can see erosional landforms. Erosional landforms, whenever like there is a removal, there is a abrasion, there is a attrition. As a result of that, what topographical features will appear, how the slope will look like. And I hope you remember this feature of slope is look like we are actually focusing upon in terms of landforms. So rock pedestal or mushroom rocks, you can say. Now what is this mushroom rock? This is the mushroom rock. Here you can see this is what the mushroom rock. Mushroom rock. You might amaze that why it is have this kind of shape. Okay, why there is a this specific kind of shape, the mushroom kind of shape, why it is have some sort of thinner appearance here and it is some sort of broad appearance at the top. It's because of the difference of erosion. The rate of erosion is completely different here. See, it is actually being formed because of the sand blasting effect of wind on the projected rock. See, guys, first of all, when the wind is here, now in this wind, what will happen? There will be some sort of fine sand particles. Some fine sand particles will be there. Now, these some fine sand particles will cause what? Abrasion. And as you know that these particles are some sort of weight, so under the influence of gravity they will be they will be found in the atmosphere from the surface up to a certain feet, let's say 2 feet 3 feet from the surface. So they can travel, or let's say these particles, sand particles which are there, or those who are in the mobile state of wind, they will not able to rise further. Why? Because of the influence of gravity. Gravity will try to attract any mass towards itself. So this sand mass which is there, or it's the sand particles which are there, because of the gravitational influence, they will cause more removal at the bottom rather than the top. So it's because of the heavy wind particles under the influence of gravity, they will cause what? Intense erosion near to the surface and less erosion at the top level. So softer, and here we have a one more thing as well, that here we have a softer rocks, here we have a harder rocks. If we have these features, then only that will be called as mushroom rocks. So softer layers that will going to erode fast, certainly, and it will going to produce irregular undercut shapes. And these bases are more eroded, resulting in mushroom shaped rocks. So this is what the mushroom shaped rock. Then here you will see mesa and butte. Mesa and butte. Now, what is Butte? Butte, or let's say Mesa first of all. Now, what is this particularly Mesa? So, Mesa is actually table. Mesa means what? Flat top table. So, when we have this flat top, steep sided hill with a resistant cap rocks. So, let's say we have these hard rocks, specifically igneous rocks, we can say. When they are there, they will be called as Mesa. Yes, we might, who knows that 200 years ago there might be a fissure, and through this fissure there might be an eruption. As a result of eruption, there might have been a formation of this particular mesa. Okay, mesa. Then we have a butte. So butte is basically a small remnant. It is a small remnant of mesa after the prolonged erosion. If it is subjected to erosion, yes, abrasion, attrition, if it is there, so ultimately this will going to transform in this way, like the residual part will be very slow, very less. So this mesa will be eroded further, and when the mesa will be eroded further, that will be called as butte. Butte means smaller remnant of mesa. So these are actually formed by differential erosion. Some will be found on the Table Mountain, Grand Canyon, you will see in USA. So they are the example where you can see this mesa and butte. as a Aeolian landforms, as a